Kawhi Leonard has a, quote, a desire to potentially return to the Clippers. In a related story, Kawhi Leonard has a desire to potentially return to bed and sleep for the next 3 years. Hi, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the LA area. This is Faithful Angelinos. So if you like what you see, not this, but this. If you like what you see, feel free to clickety-clack on the like, subscribe buttons, the notifications. Feel free to share. Sharing is caring, and or comment. Love to hear from people. A lot of people yesterday commented on the video that I had. Thank you to them. It was a good conversation, and also to the new subscribers. So, good morning. Thought I'd change the camera angle. Snow. Maybe you can see it. Maybe you can only see like the reflection. No idea. What can I tell you about yesterday and today out in LA? Bad times for UCLA, man. That's not a loss you want to have. The number 12 ranked Bruins lost to Oregon 68-63. Meanwhile, USC survives Oregon State. Not a good look either. 94-91 in double overtime. The Trojans 16th ranked. Both teams obviously still in position for the NCAA tournament without too much problem. Not a good look last night, just not. Meanwhile, tonight, the Kings will take on the Ducks. That'll be at 7 p.m. out in Anaheim. I think it's on this nutty little thing called Bally Sports. And meanwhile, over on ESPN, what we'll talk about more in depth, the Lakers versus the Clippers. Oh, all right. So let's get to the news before we get to the main topic. Joe Kelly says he wants to stay with the Dodgers. And I wish I could still afford rent in Hollywood. I mean, what are we talking about here? Of course he wants to return to the Dodgers. This is, okay, I'm a former newspaper reporter, right? Former sports writer. Sometimes we would write these stories and we would call them dog bites man stories. They're obvious. We know. We're like right there going, why am I spending my time doing this? But we would still write the story. I mean, dog bites man, world continues to spin on its axis. No duh, Joe Kelly wants to return to the Dodgers. And I'm not even saying that as a hateful man. Oh, I am a hateful man. Just not hating on Joe Kelly. I mean, but of course he wants to come back. The money's good. The team wins. And oh, by the way, if he wants to show up to practice wearing a mariachi outfit and singing La Cucaracha, Dave Roberts is looking the other way. And before you think I'm culturally appropriating, check out the photos of Joe Kelly when the team went to the White House last year. I think you'll understand. Also coming on, MLS Commissioner Don Garber is finalizing a deal for an expansion team for Las Vegas. This matters to Los Angeles in one reason and one reason only, because Vegas pretty much stole that team from Northern California. Ha ha. The Las Vegas Villains, they are potentially going to be called. The ownership group also owns Premier League team Aston Villa. And if you think that means I know anything about that, no. Other than Sacramento loses. Well, hell, Sacramento stole all of our water out in California, so the least we can do is steal a soccer team and their joy. Let's see. An NFC executive predicts the Chargers will not be aggressive in free agency, to which I say $50 million in salary cap space. Now, this guy might be right. He's in the game. I'm not. But I want to turn the Wayback Machine to give you guys why it's important for the Chargers to be aggressive in the offseason. Okay, I mean, that was the topic of yesterday's discussion. Feel free to go on my channel page. You'll see it. It's yesterday. It's gotten a lot of views, which I'm very thankful for. But let's climb back into the Wayback Machine. Look, when Donald Sterling first brought his NBA team and his racism to Los Angeles from San Diego, we were asking, why? What makes you think you can compete with the Lakers? And as it turns out, he had no intention of ever competing with the Lakers. It just wasn't going to happen. I mean, he just wanted to have the name LA associated with the Clippers. That's it. Because it raises the value. Ask Artie Moreno over in Anaheim. I mean, LA, the thing with LA is you just have Los Angeles associated with, your value increases. It just is. We're the number 2 market. One day the New Jersey Devils are going to get wise and call themselves the New Jersey Devils of New York. And they're going to face the Heat and they'll watch their money raise. It's just that way. So, but having said that, the Chargers now are in a dilemma. They either sit there and they go, we have to compete with the Rams, or we're just going to take the name and see the value of our team lift. It's literally just that straight and simple. Because the Rams have already been to 2 Super Bowls and won 1. Remember how the Chargers, when they first came up, their slogan was, we're going to fight for LA? Are you? That's all. I mean, seriously, that's all I can say about it. I mean, you're either here to compete or you're just here to have LA associated with you. Now, let's move on to the main topic. Lakers versus Clippers tonight. And this game fascinates me because now we get to see who's deeper in the septic tank. They both suck. I mean, can we just be real about it? It's like both teams are under 500. Both teams, if the playoffs started today, would be in the so-called play-in round to get in there. And the Lakers are even worse off because they're at the bottom of the playoff play-in game thing, which means they'd have to win twice instead of once to advance in. This is amazing to me because very rarely have we seen both teams simultaneously suck this bad. There were these like little flashes of the Clippers being competent during the Lob City era, and the Lakers, you know, when Kobe blew out his Achilles, they're asking me to leave. I've got another hour. When Kobe blew out his Achilles, the Lakers damn near had a decade of mediocrity. Have you seen Brandon Ingram lately? Has anybody seen D'Angelo Russell? Can we put out a search party for these guys? Julius Randle? Anywhere? No? Which brings me back to Kawhi Leonard with his desire to potentially return. Why? What's in it for him right now? I mean, they're not in a position to win the title. Paul George is out. Paul George is going to get an MRI today. So if you really want to know how this is going down, Paul George's MRI, Paul George's elbow will determine the health of Kawhi Leonard's knee. Or they both get surgery and we'll see when they come back. And for a moment, if you're going to sit there and think, well, like there's this one guy, this one idiot blogger, and trust me, I don't want to go too crazy on that because I'm an idiot blogger. This one guy goes online, he's like, oh, this is still a successful year for the Clippers and oh, so disappointing for the Lakers. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, the Lakers are not in great shakes. We'll get to that in a moment, but the Clippers have 0 first-round picks until 2027, and yeah, they're building a new arena, but even when that arena opens in 2024, they're still going to be $20 million over the salary cap, and they're under 500. Clipper fans are just strange that way. As long as they're just like above the Clippers, and that tells you something. That tells you something. If you take nothing away from this video other than this, realize there's no such thing as Clipper fans. There are only Laker haters. Now, having said that, I want to close this video with a little message for LeBron. I also talked about LeBron last week. If you look on my channel, you'll see it. He wants to finish his career with his kid, something like that. And the thing that I remember about that is I've said it was nepotism, and some guy replied, well, you know, in order for nepotism, you have to have authority. Since when has LeBron James not acted like a de facto GM? Maybe when he was a teenager, you know? Some people look at age 21 as a reason to go out and drink. LeBron looks at it as a reason to try and build a super team. He's been doing this all his life. I mean, look, the thing that really bothers me right now about LeBron and his GM moves when he's not the GM, the Lakers right now stink. This is the team you wanted. You wanted Russell Westbrook. You wanted Mr. Triple-Double, and you helped turn him into Mr. Triple-Single. That's on you, okay? And how can we all speak so bold about LeBron in Los Angeles? It's because it's time for some tough love, LeBron. I know you're not going to see this, but it's time for some tough love. You don't own this city. You own that city on the other side of the country. You own Cleveland. You do not own Los Angeles. You have the keys to that city over there. I mean, when you were in Cleveland and Miami, everybody adored you. You could do anything in that city. And yeah, you could do a hell of a lot in Los Angeles. But please understand, in those other towns, you were this big, big fish in this little bitty pond. But in Los Angeles, you're one of 3 whales fighting for this cup of water. The Lakers, the Dodgers, the Rams. One way or another, we're going to find a way to move on without you, dude. Those murals all over the city aren't of you, they're of Kobe. Now go out and win yourself number 18 in purple and gold. Well, this was a little lengthier than I had anticipated. Once again, thank you for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment. Tomorrow we're talking LA Galaxy soccer. I'm flying home. Have a good day. Take care.